both stimulus and response. A space is present. Our power to choose our response exists in that space. Growth and freedom are contained in our response. Viktor Frankl, who was born in Vienna on March 26, 1905, is best known as the founder of logotherapy and as an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, and philosopher. Frankl promoted the idea that the most important goal in a person's life is to find purpose. This search for meaning gives us direction, purpose, and the inner strength to face life's hardships and day-to-day obstacles. Frankl's legacy is chiefly punctuated by his resilience during the Holocaust. His father was killed in the concentration camp of Theresienstadt, where he and his family were sent in 1942. Later, in 1944, Frankl and his surviving family were taken to Auschwitz, where his mother died shortly after his wife did. Frankl made his way back to Vienna, his homeland, after the camps were liberated by the Allies in 1945. It was there that he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a groundbreaking book that explored life in concentration camps, the brutality and desolation of the surroundings, and the decline of his fellow prisoners into hopelessness and despair. He noted in this book, there is a space between stimulus and response. Our power to choose our response exists in that space. Growth and freedom can be found in our response. This, in my opinion, is the book's most important lesson overall. It is a work filled with insightful philosophical ideas and deep lessons. But what does Frankl mean when he refers to this space? With the ideas of freedom and growth, what message is he trying to get across? This space, at its most basic level, describes the fleeting instant in which we integrate the world around us. This procedure is mostly unconscious and frequently goes unreported for a huge number of people. Our beliefs, values, judgments, biases, and the nuanced ways in which our experiences have shaped our mental processes and perceptions of every circumstance we encounter all shape how we interpret the outside world. Our actions are eventually shaped by these perceptions, which in turn influence how we respond to the situations that confront us. Think about the situation where a dog approaches a person in a park, for example. A person who was attacked by a dog as a youngster will naturally have a different reaction than someone who developed a close attachment with a family pet as a child. The way we respond to what we just experienced is ultimately determined by these perceptions, which also influence our conduct. The same stimulus might elicit very different reactions in different people depending on their personal experiences. This space frequently appears in our lives by chance. By first-hand interactions, we absorb the lessons that are all around us. We create our own beliefs, and we unconsciously and intentionally absorb other people's viewpoints through their lessons. Some people benefit from this randomness since it fosters development and growth in a positive setting. Still, chance is a shaky basis on which to build beliefs and values about the world, ourselves, and others around us. For the majority of people, a bell-shaped distribution of results is what random chance by nature produces. Some people are lucky enough to live in a positive atmosphere that leads to a well-rounded happiness. On the other hand, some people experience misfortune, struggling with trauma and adversity without the means to deal, which leaves them deeply unhappy. Most people are situated in the middle of these two extremes. We can tilt the scales in favor of happiness, resilience, and comprehensive well-being by consciously rejecting the role of chance and embracing a purposeful practice of molding our mentality and character. According to Frankl, our growth and our freedom. You may compare this analogy to making a cake. Making a delicious cake becomes difficult if life throws strange components like watermelon, ketchup, noodles, and eggs at you. On the other hand, you put yourself in a good position to bake a tasty cake by carefully selecting what goes into the mixing bowl and skillfully removing everything that doesn't belong. Our responses to the world always change when our ways of processing it change. As a result, we gradually change our lives as we modify our reaction. But it's imperative that we turn inward, concentrating on things within our power rather than trying to change the world or obsessing over things outside of our control. In a nutshell, Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, observed, "Some things are within our control and others not." We must change the way we respond to the world around us in order to change our lives and the way we engage with the people and things in it. And in order to change the way we respond to it, we must intentionally generate the beliefs, values, and judgments required for positive behaviors that are consistent with who we want to be. This requires taking full responsibility and ownership for the space between stimulus and response. How then can we go about doing this? There are 3 phases to developing and changing this aspect of our life, in my opinion. The first phase is consciousness. Take some time to identify exactly what your beliefs are. It is much harder to change something if you don't have exact knowledge. It is very difficult to change your beliefs, values, perceptions, and biases if you keep them hidden. These qualities often function at the subconscious level and require conscious effort to bring them into awareness. But with time, honest self-observation and meditation might help to ease this change. The second stage is to confront those beliefs once we've picked a handful and can plainly see them. Raise questions. What makes you think the way you do? Can you provide any instances where such belief is incorrect? Which presumptions do you have? How are you certain it's true? We may rapidly start dissecting beliefs that are untrue or don't fairly represent the world around us if we ask enough and the correct questions. The last stage is rephrasing. If you find holes in your beliefs by probing yourself, ask yourself about more practical or beneficial options. Add these understandings to your recently updated and more accurate belief system. Repetition is frequently required for this since the false or misleading beliefs you've internalized may have developed into habitual patterns that need to be rewired. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked the information and want to see more, please think about liking and subscribing. I appreciate you, Suneen.